The Union Budget 2024-25, presented on 1st of Feb, despite being an interim one, managed to tick many right boxes. Hi, my name is Siddhartha Khemka and I head retail research at Motilal Oswal Financial Research. Last time we discussed the expectations. Now it's time to analyze the budget and its key highlights. More specifically, looking at the impact on the markets and the key sectors to look out for. The government did a fine balancing act between growth and fiscal prudence. Primarily, it focused on four major goals: poor, women, youth, and farmers. Despite being the last budget before the general elections, the government did not announce any populist measures. Rather, it stuck to prudent spending, focusing on sustaining the economic growth. One of the most important highlights from the budget was the focus on fiscal consolidation. While the fiscal deficit target for FY24 has been revised lower to 5.8% from 5.9%, which was earlier in the budget estimate, for FY25, the deficit target has been set at 5.1%, which is much lower than the expected range of 5.2 to 5.4%, thus giving a real chance to the government to aim for a fiscal deficit of 4.9% in FY26. The government's capital spending is projected to grow at 16.9% in FY25 compared to the total expenditure growth of 6.1%. Thus, the share of capital expenditure is expected to rise to 23.3% of total spending, marking the highest share in the last 3 decades. Focus continues on major schemes, with higher allocation being given towards PLIs, semiconductors, solar power, green hydrogen, rural employment, and Ayushman Bharat, that is the healthcare insurance. Defense has been given the highest allocation of 6.1 lakh crore rupees. The allocation for railways has remained strong from the last 3 years, and we view this as positive for companies which are focused on wagons, coaches, Vande Bharat trains, as well as locomotives. The 3 corridor programs under the Prime Minister Gati Shakti Yojana will also help in bringing down the logistics costs and improve the overall economic efficiency. Under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, after achieving a target of 3 crore houses, the government has set an additional 2 crore houses target for the next 5 years. In its commitment towards the environment, the budget reinforced its commitments towards rooftop solar projects, electric vehicles, biomass, wind energy, as well as coal gasification. 1 crore households will be enabled to obtain up to 300 units of free electricity per month with the rooftop solar projects, while the EV bus adoption across the country would gain further momentum. Expansion of existing airports, new airports under the Udan scheme, and development of several iconic tourist centers across the world would help in boosting tourism, attract local businesses, as well as promote entrepreneurship. Since this was an interim budget, the proposals were expected to be limited. However, from an overall equity market perspective, we believe that the budget reinforces India's strong positioning in the challenging global environment. Equity markets would benefit from the long-term focus on fiscal consolidation as well as the higher capex spending. The government has brought in various economic reforms. It has tripled its capex in the last 4 years, which has led to a multiplier effect on the economic growth as well as employment generation. The combination of 7% GDP growth along with 15% plus earnings CAGR over the next 2 years, which has been supported by a stable currency, moderating inflation, puts India in a sweet spot. From a sectoral perspective, the budget is likely to be positive for affordable housing and finance, infrastructure, capital goods, cement, defense, as well as railways. PSU banks would benefit from a benign bond market along with healthy credit growth environment. The increased focus on improving rural income would be positive for companies in the consumer space, FMCG companies, discretionary companies including autos, which includes two-wheelers, tractors, as well as consumer durables. companies in the renewable energy as well as tourism space would also benefit from the higher budgetary allocation. Finally, to conclude, I would like to say that the government has picked up the path of growth over populism, which is commendable given the upcoming elections. Investors would benefit from this growth in the economy and should look at the long-term picture, which remains very strong for India. Thank you.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.